It's time for Sister to Sister on Talk 107.5, a program designed to encourage women through God's holy word. And now, Sister to Sister with Karen and Robin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen, and you're listening to Sister. We have Lisa Kriehn, Director of Love Inc. in Live Oak, Florida, as our special guest here with us tonight here in the studio. So stay tuned for more on Sister to Sister. Okay, welcome. We're glad you've joined us for this episode of Sister to Sister, and we pray that your ears will be open to hear what the Lord has for you to hear tonight. We encourage your feedback. Let us know that you're listening. You can tell us how we're doing. Go to the website, s2sministry.com, and under Contact Us, just leave us a note. Let us know how we're doing. That's S2sministry.com. Also, if you have a topic you'd like to hear more about, or maybe you have something you'd like to share, contact us. Let us know. You can contact us through our website or email us directly at emailme@s2sministry.com. We look forward to hearing from you. It's that time again. It's time for this week's Bible Trivia Challenge. Join us each week as we test our Bible knowledge. Tonight's question: who was James and John's father? Who was James and John's father? You have time, so if you don't know the answer, you got time to go and look it up before we give the answer later in the show. Each month, we highlight a ministry and its mission. For the month of December, if you remember, we highlighted Love Inc. Imagine what the world would look like if every Christian were maximally utilized, living out their faith by serving others. Love, in the name of Christ's vision, is to see Christian churches united in purpose and fully engaged in actively living out their faith by lovingly serving people in need in their communities. Their vision is to see Christian churches in every community in this country and around the world united in the purpose of ministering the love of Christ to anyone in need in their area through the partnering strategy and model they call Love in the Name of Christ. We want to welcome to the show Miss Lisa Kriehn, Director of Love Inc. in Live Oak, Florida. Welcome, Miss Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us tonight and taking the time to come and share with us. I'm sure you brought with you a wealth of information about your ministry.
I did.
Good. So just start where you want to. Tell us about Love Inc.
Love in the Name of Christ is a national nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
We are funded through the ministry of the churches. We do not get federal funding or government funding. We are funded through personal donations and donations from the churches.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission statement is to mobilize the churches and the communities through the body of Christ to help the less fortunate in the communities.
Mm-hmm.
In the early 90s, some pastors in Suwannee County got together and wanted to be able to help people through a screening process, which they didn't have time to do themselves in their churches.
Right.
So they contacted Love Inc. National.
Mm-hmm.
And Love Inc. National came in and set up the Love Inc. of Suwannee County.
Okay.
And what it does, and it allows when people knock on your door and say, can I get $20 for gas?
Mm-hmm.
They can just say, Love Inc. handles that for us, hand them a card, they come to us, we do a screening process.
Mm-hmm.
The individuals have to reveal to us their financial information,
mm-hmm.
their income, and their outgo. And then we work with that budget to see if they are paying their bills.
Right.
There's a lot of need in the community,
mm-hmm.
but there's a whole lot of want.
Yes. I understand that. From my line of work, I see that too.
And we never let anyone go hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Never are we going to let anyone go hungry. But a lot of times they do have the money to buy food. they don't know how to manage what God's given them.
Right.
They don't know how to be good stewards with that money. So we're there to try to help them with that. We want to give them a hand up and not a handout.
Right.
And we have been working in Hamilton County with some of the churches. We do have a food pantry over here now.
Okay.
We have a clothing ministry. We have a personal care ministry. And these are all handled through the office in Suwannee County. And then we just give them vouchers to go to the churches in this area to be able to get those goods. And they can call 386-364-4673 in order to get that process started.
Okay, so they would actually go through you guys and then you direct them according to their need.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they do not have to come to Suwannee County. All they have to do is make that phone call.
Okay. So we have a few ministries or different types of things you said here in Hamilton County.
Yes.
One was a
Food ministry,
Okay.
which is Harvest Fellowship, but they have to come through us.
Right.
First Baptist here is handling the personal care ministry.
Okay.
The Assembly of God actually has a baby needs pantry, diapers, wipes, formula, baby food, clothing.
Okay, Harvest does food, and then First Baptist does, what did you say?
Personal care.
Personal care. Okay, well, what does that mean
Deodorant,
exactly?
shampoo,
Okay.
Feminine hygiene,
Right.
toothbrushes, toothpaste.
Okay.
And then the First United Methodist and Presbyterian churches together do the clothing ministry.
Okay.
And then the Assembly of God, of course, has the baby needs ministry. And we encourage people to call. We've been doing this for several months, and we haven't gotten a lot of calls from Hamilton County. And there's been some discussion. I don't know if we're going to do a local line here, and it would just jump, or if Hamilton County and the Ministerial Alliance may decide to go and to Love Inc. National and get their own Love Inc. here in Hamilton County. So it was a trial thing for us to try to do it with them.
Sure.
And it's hard for county to county, and people are more comfortable with someone right here.
Right.
They want to be, they want to be able to touch it. And people don't understand we're a phone ministry, and that's for security reasons.
Sure,
But Love Inc. has become nationally a phone ministry. If people don't have money to buy food, they don't have money to get in their car and go somewhere to do the paperwork, and then go somewhere else to get the food.
Sure.
So we really try to think of all those things.
So right now, or currently, the only contact number is the 364 number?
Correct.
That's 386-364-4673. And I agree with you that perhaps even an 800 number or maybe a local Hamilton County local number that maybe would forward to your number could be a help.
Correct. And we are working on that.
I think that's a great idea. You mentioned national. I know Love Inc. is national because of the website. And I have it pulled up here in front of me to make sure and ask you all the good questions. But be sure and check this website out so you can find out, you can look and see the things that we've been talking about and then some. It's www.loveinc.org, LOVEINC, love in the name of Christ.org. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the Hamilton County ministry, so to speak. So how long have you been with Love Inc. Live Oak, and were you a part of its beginning?
Actually, no. I've been with Love Inc. for almost 8 years. My mom was sick, and I had quit my job and moved back to Live Oak, and she got better, and I needed something to do. And Love Inc. called the house and said, would Miss Carol do our books? And I said, no, she's really got her hands full with the church books, but I need something to do, but it won't be books.
So accounting is not your thing, huh?
That's not my thing. So I went in and I said, okay, my husband's working at PCS. I'll work The days that he's working, that lasted for 2 days.
Okay.
I became a full-time volunteer for a year and a half, and then I became what we call the clearinghouse coordinator, which is the person that coordinates the clearinghouse where all the screening is done. And then our current director retired, and she said, Lisa, you're the only one that can do it. You really know more about the whole operation than I do because you set the clearinghouse up. You have to take it. And I said, well, no, I don't do reports. And so the board really wanted me to take it, so I took it 3 years ago.
Okay.
I love it. You touched on it. There's so much joy to be able to go into your place of employment and know that everything you do is the body of Christ.
Absolutely.
You open your day with devotion. If people come in the door, we invite them to come on in. We're having devotion. Come join us. A lot of places you can't do that. And we're very, very fortunate. I love it. Don't know what I'd do without it. There are days I say, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Right.
But the next day I'm ready. It's heart-wrenching. How many times, you think, how many more times can I hear, I don't have lights, I don't have food, I don't have water, my children don't have shoes.
Yeah.
But God keeps you going. And I tell people, say, how do you do what you do? I'm just a vessel that God is directing me to do what He has planned for me to do, to touch people. And it's volunteers are few and far between, and I would encourage anyone that wanted to serve Christ on a daily basis through their work, please call us. We need volunteers. We have a volunteer from Jasper right now, and we just love her to death.
Oh, good.
And, it just... It's I can't explain it. You have to live it. We have a lot of ministries within our big ministry. Okay. We do once a year we do a tennis shoe drive. So we have new tennis shoes for all the homeless and the less fortunate children in the school system.
Wow. Does that cover Suwannee County?
That covers
primarily?
Suwannee County.
Okay.
Which... when you ask for a testimony, and I'm going to give you one, and you're going to be sorry, but okay.
Bring it on. I'm ready.
When we do our shoe bags for the schools, they'll call us and say, Johnny needs a pair of shoes. His shoes are flopping, or they're 3 sizes too small. So we put together a bag that has a new pair of tennis shoes, a new package of underwear, a new package of socks, a few little personal care items, a devotional book or a Bible story book, and we're very fortunate in our area that we can do that.
Right.
And we take it to the school. Well, I took one to the school one day, and it was a little boy in 2nd grade. And the counselors are real good about bringing them down, letting you try them on and make sure they fit. So when we got through, he was so proud of his little shoes, and Miss Netter said, do you have something you want to tell Miss Lisa? And I'll never forget, those little green eyes looked at me and said, can I just tug your neck? I've never had a pair of socks.
Wow.
And it made it worth anything else I do.
Yeah.
To remember that little face that got the socks that he'd never had.
Never owned a pair of socks.
Never had a pair of socks.
And that's right here in our communities. So often we think of the quote unquote less fortunate as, in Africa or overseas somewhere in third world countries. And we have that right here among us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We do that shoe ministry. We have a huge food ministry. The First Baptist Church of Suwannee County, we merged with that church, with the First Baptist of Live Oak, and they do all of our food. So we don't have to worry about it, because they did a food ministry and they were getting taken advantage of. So we screen them now, because people are afraid of not having enough. So when they get that opportunity, they're going to go get all they can get.
Sure.
So what we do, and they don't understand that I got food stamps today, but I still need to go get food. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You need to wait until you know that you're going to be out of food. Give us 3 or 4 days. We'll get you to that food pantry.
Yeah.
And it's so blessed over Christmas. I think it was Christmas. I had a phone call on a Sunday. Said, we have 60 turkeys for you. Can you get them? And I said, well, yeah, I can get them. Do you need me to get them today? And they said, no, Monday will be fine. Well, by the time Monday got there, we had 250 turkeys.
Wow.
And they will keep because they were frozen,
right.
And there's a big freezer there, so that's all handled. We have a personal care ministry. The First United Methodist of Live Oak does that. We have a bread ministry. We get bread from Publix 6 days a week, and we get Pepperidge Farms 2 days a week.
Okay.
So we do about $15,000 worth of bread, pizza, bakery items back into the community every month.
Wow.
We were real blessed this year, and people say, I don't know how you did that, and I have to I'm real proud of what we've done. We've actually put $543,000 back into the community this year. Wow. And that's goods and services. That's
this year? Meaning since January 1?
No.
Okay.
2014.
Okay,
2014.
Gotcha.
And that includes your community service hours, but that's a lot.
That is a lot. Especially for this area.
Yes. But we live in an area that if there's a need, if you will call that church and they know that it's a legitimate need, they're on it. That's good. On it. We served, between us and the fire department, the homeless advocate at Suwannee County School System, we served over 800 children for Christmas.
Wow. And that's giving them different types of things, like
they get gifts for their children for Christmas toys.
Sure. Wow. That's a lot of children. A lot of lives affected in a positive way, and not just giving them something, but a material thing, but you're also giving them the love of Christ in that ministry. And that's what I just love about this. The giving is blessed, and like you, obviously, by what you're saying already, you're blessed just by what you do every day.
Every day, because
you're seeing the being able to give in a need, and then that little testimony, that's priceless.
Oh, I will carry that with me forever.
It makes it all worth it.
It does, and we get the opportunity to ask. We do ask every client, "Do you mind if we have a word of prayer with you?"
That's awesome.
I don't think in the whole time I've been there, I've had 2 people maybe say no. We do ask if they're an active member of a church. That does not affect whether they get help or not. It's just a question we ask, because later in the intake process, they get asked, would you like for us to have a pastor
to contact
in your area to contact you?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next, was a little bit about the screening process. And that happens over the phone.
Yes.
So they call in the number, and then they're practically, I guess, interviewed, so to speak.
When you call in, the receptionist takes your basic information, and then we handle the folders as they come in. We don't, do any preference as they come in. They're dated and timed. So we take them as they come, and you're asked. Of course, everybody that's in the household, we need to know your power account number, your city account number, your landlord's name, your landlord's phone number, and a next of kin. We verify because, for several reasons, but the biggest reason is if someone calls and asks for their power bill to be paid, and we call the landlord, and the landlord said, well, we evicted them yesterday.
Right.
So you're throwing good money after bad if you aren't doing the screening process.
Sure.
The other thing we find is Mama and Daddy can tell you a lot about what's going on. I've helped and I've helped and I've helped. They have plenty of money to pay their bills, but they do other things with it.
Right.
So then we'll step in and say, maybe you need to come in for some budget counseling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have several people that we pay their bills for them with their money.
Right. Helping them to
in,
get to learn how to manage their own funds.
Absolutely. They come in and we sit down with them, bring their bills, you know, and we go over it with them.
Wow, that's awesome too.
You know,
and that's something that you come to at some point after, you know, that wouldn't happen on an initial screening, so to speak.
No.
I mean, that would be later on when you determine, okay, this is happening. Let's help you fix this.
Absolutely.
And that happens there in the
office.
In the office in Live Oak.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know about that one.
You should come visit us. I encourage people to come and visit our office because there's a lot that goes on in that building that you just can't imagine could go on. We have a Department of Children and Families employee that is full-time in our office that works for Department of Children and Families.
Really?
So, you know, and people will say to you, oh, I only get $25 in food stamps. And when you do the verification, of course, you have to sign a release of information. When you verify that and you find out, oh, you just got $255 yesterday, you know, and we as Christians have to be very good stewards.
Absolutely.
And we have to use a lot of discernment, you know, in making these decisions.
Right, right. Well, and that also enables you as a ministry to continue in the ministry, helping those that need the help. Because if you don't do some sort of screening, then you'll have the habitual repeat requesters, whatever the right term would be there. And that uses up your fund. It uses up your supply of
resources.
Yeah, all your resources for that person instead of being able to share it amongst more.
Exactly. And people know, and this is sad, but it's the cold-hearted truth, that they can go to this agency this month and this agency this month and this agency this month. You know, they can, usually it's a 6-month period. And we will say to them, you know, if X, Y, Z, A, B, and C paid them these last few months and we pay it this month, who's going to pay it next month?
Right.
You know, that's not helping you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet.
Exactly. You're enabling the problem at that point.
Exactly. And our senior citizens are the ones that we really need to be watching out for and we really need to be taking care of because they don't have any money. And I can tell you, if they call you and ask you for something, they need it. So Love Inc. is definitely a Christian organization, and it's nationwide. And I saw on the website here that there are a large number of affiliates. It was over 100. I don't remember the number, including Kenya. Yes. Kenya has come into play since I've been with Love Inc. And it's huge and growing ministry over there. We've actually, when we go to our national gathering every year, we get to meet the people from Kenya. And it's just amazing at the movement of Christ through Love Inc. in Kenya.
See, that's incredible. I love seeing that love in action. That, like you said, that little boy with the socks that he'd never owned a pair before, or seeing people gathered in the name of Christ to give to others. Just that just blesses me to see that happening. How, if I'm listening tonight and I want to help somehow, how would I go about doing that? If I wanted to help Love Inc., maybe donate or, contribute in some way.
If you want to donate to Love Inc., we will take clothes. We will take, of course, shoes, food. Monetary donations are great. Volunteers would be fantabulous. We are located at 120 North Ohio Avenue. If you're going into Live Oak from the Jasper area, just as you go over across the railroad tracks, we are on the left-hand side,
okay,
where Pick and Save was years and years and years ago. You know, and just come by and say, I heard you on the radio. I would love to see what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what you do. We'll give you a tour.
Awesome. And you can always call that number, right?
Absolutely. 386-364-4673.
And they can speak with anyone there, or they need to ask for you?
They can ask for me, or they can speak to anyone there. Everybody there is very well knows what's going on.
Okay, great. So what are maybe some upcoming events or any happenings you got coming up on the horizon? Anything new? I know you said you recently did a shoe drive. You got something coming up soon, or is that? I should have brought the date. We are going to be doing a chili fundraiser at the Chicken Scott parking lot, and I'll get those dates and times to you. Sure.
We always do tax relief chicken dinner on April 15th. The firemen cook chicken for us. It's amazing. We haven't set the time, for that yet. In the end of May, we do a socks and underwear drive. Some of the churches do sock hops. Some do, during Bible school, they do undies for Sundays. If they bring a pack of underwear, they get to make an ice cream sundae.
Right.
Then we will kick off our shoe drive in the last Saturday of June with a 5K, and the entry fee is a new pair of tennis shoes. That's it. Just a new pair of tennis shoes.
And that's in June?
That's in June.
Okay.
I'll get all this information to you.
Yeah, do that and email me that information, and I'll be glad to share that with our listeners on future shows, because all of that's interesting to me. And even just participating in the 5K, something fun to go do, and here you've helped. You've contributed, even if it's just one pair of shoes.
Absolutely. And there is some talk that we're talking about maybe trying to get that started in Hamilton County as well.
Awesome.
So we get to find a church to house the shoes, and have somebody to be available to take them to the school, because you have to have someone
a facilitator
available
for the ministry.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. That's understandable. So listeners, anybody out there listening tonight, anyone interested in something such as that, be sure and give Miss Lisa a call at 386-364-4673. That's at the Love Inc. office over in Suwannee County in Live Oak. Their office is located at 120 North Ohio Avenue. Be sure and give them a call. Well, we're about to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the Answer Dial Bible Trivia Challenge and our Ministry Minute and more. You're listening to Sister on WJHC Talk 107.5 FM. Welcome back. You're listening to Sister live here on WJHC Talk 107.5 FM. You've just heard I Refuse by Josh Wilson. The first half of the show, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Miss Lisa Kriehn, director of Love Inc. in Live Oak, Florida. She's shared tons of information about this ministry, and I encourage you to check out their website. It's www.loveinc.org. Got a couple of announcements here I'd like to share for you. First would be from the Lily of the Valley Missionary Baptist Church. They're announcing a mission forum. It's going to be held January 31st. Continental breakfast will begin at 8 a.m. That'll be from 8 to 8:45 for breakfast. The forum will begin promptly at 9 a.m. and last until noon. How effective is our mission ministry? The forum will consist of components of an effective mission ministry, practical ideas for mission ministry. Reverend Stanley Jacobs will be facilitator. They got a shoebox ministry, also a presenter, Sister Rebecca Adams, and some open sharing. They have an inspirational message will be brought to you by Sister Gloria Simmons. There's a $10 registration fee. Contact Alma Howell for further information. You can email her at ahowell@windstream.net or give her a call, 386-938-3800. That's Reverend Patrick Howell, pastor. It's Lily of the Valley Church located in Jennings, Florida, 5869 Northwest 44th Street in Jennings. And also, I'd like to announce Sisters of Encouragement. We had Sister Sheila Cole actually appear on the show with us here. I think it was in November, and she shared a little bit about Sisters of Encouragement. I wanted to highlight that again real quick for her. They're having a meeting actually tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Sisters of Encouragement. It's geared for ladies, young ladies, ages 13 to 19 years of age at the Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church dining room. That address is 3891 Northwest 110th Drive, right here in Jasper. If you have any questions, you can contact Sister Sheila Cole, 792-1393. Okay, it's time for our answer. Today's trivia question: who was James and John's father? Did any of you go and look that up? The answer is Zebedee. Zebedee. Be sure to tune in next week for more Bible trivia. Now we're going to move on to our Ministry Minute. Each month we highlight a ministry and its mission. For the month of January, we're highlighting Pregnancy Care Center of Live Oak. The staff and volunteers are dedicated disciples of Jesus Christ who are called to protect the unborn, assist abortion-vulnerable women in making the right decision, and to provide selected social services, all to the glory of God. The corporation was organized to operate exclusively as a nonprofit charitable organization whose purpose was to develop and administer programs designed to assist women in confronting and dealing with the physical, emotional, economic, and social problems associated with pregnancy. To develop and administer programs designed to assist pregnant women who desire to carry their unborn child to term. There is a pregnancy care center located in Live Oak and Lake City, Florida. For more information, go to www.friendsofpcc.com. We have exciting news. We are looking to have a pregnancy care center open here in Jasper in the month of February. I don't have all the details, but join us on February 9th right here on Sister to Sister. We'll have Miss Vicki and Miss Donna here with us from Pregnancy Care Center Live Oak. And they're going to give us all the juicy details and share more with us about Pregnancy Care Center. So again, we have Miss Lisa Kriehn with us here tonight, and we so appreciate you coming and spending time with us and sharing with all about your ministry with us. That's Love Inc. She's the director of the affiliation or the office out of Live Oak, Florida. And she's shared with us, it's a multifaceted ministry, actually, and it's all based around giving and sharing the love of Christ. Miss Lisa, I wanted to, for a recap, to go back through, and I know that your primary operation is there, well, you're located in Suwannee County in Live Oak, but you do have some stuff happening here in Hamilton County. Let's talk about that a little bit again.
Okay, yes, we do. I, quite a while back, met with the Ministerial Alliance here to try to get something going in Hamilton County because there's a lot of need in Hamilton County. So when I met with them, they were very, very receptive. And we're able to provide food in Hamilton County, clothing, personal care items, and baby needs. And when I say baby needs, that means diapers, wipes, formula, food, clothing. So you just need to call the 386-364-4673 because you have to be screened. And then we will send you to the pantry that can help your needs. And if there's any of the churches out there listening and you haven't heard about it, please contact me or contact the Ministerial Alliance here in Hamilton County so you can get involved. All the churches need to be involved, you know, and we want to have an office over here, but we have to have the support from the churches, you know. Even if you took $50 out of your benevolence every month, this is a benevolence.
Absolutely.
You know, and then Love Inc. acts as a free secretary and screens the people that keep coming to your door Sunday after Sunday or Wednesday night when you come out of church. And those people are standing there, you know, and you're real vulnerable when that happens.
Right.
And you can always hand them that card and say, we support Love Inc. They handle this for us. And if they need additional help, they'll call us on your behalf.
Right. And I would like to encourage anyone listening to, you know, present this to your church. I don't know the number of churches that we have in Hamilton County, but we have a few. Right. We've got quite a few churches in Hamilton County. Jasper, Jennings, and White Springs, of all denominations. This is not a denomination thing.
It is interdenominational. Knock down those denominational walls.
Amen.
And let's come together through the body of Christ to help these people.
Absolutely. And so we're calling on all churches. Attention, everybody. We're sending out an all call right now for all churches. Let's all get involved, because if we all get involved and put our little bit in, then that little bit adds to a lot to be able to help a lot of people right here in our community.
Absolutely. And the overhead, you know, we have 2 employees. For years we ran on 1 employee. You know, so you just need to be able to support one person. Everyone else is volunteers. Think about it. Pray about it. You're going to have the volunteers. You know, you're going to have the funding to be able to have, if we don't continue as a associated ministry with Suwannee County, you know, you're going to have the money to have that 501c3. You're going to have the money for the building and the lights, you know, to get started. And the way we've opened it up in Hamilton County, you already have your ministry set up that you're not going to have to do that. When we did ours, everything was under one building, which is not the model. People need to know that if they go to this church for food and they get prayer with them, and then they go to this church to get something else and they have prayer with them and they invite them to church, they're going to start realizing, hey, guess what? Everything I'm getting is coming through the body of Christ.
Right.
What better, you know, and it sticks in the mind.
Absolutely. And that's a calling that we have as Christians, is to help the poor.
Yes.
And the less fortunate. That's a calling that we have, or a commandment rather, to go and to help those people, and not to necessarily just meet their need in that moment as for, you know, giving in clothing and shelter, but planting those seeds.
Absolutely.
Praying with them, There is, wow, the ministry here.
Yes. Yes.
The possibilities.
People want it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to know that they want it,
Mm-hmm.
but really they want it.
Absolutely.
They want what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
They want Christ. They don't know that's what they want.
Absolutely.
But they want Christ.
Right. They're looking for something to fill that void and
Absolutely.
may not know exactly what it is. So we've got to make ourselves available to tell them.
That's right.
To share that with them.
And and you have to be, you're not going to help everybody that comes through the door,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a difference in the wants and the needs.
That's true.
And it's okay. I tell my volunteers all the time,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay if you say no.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for people to hear no
Mm-hmm.
in a loving, Christ-like manner.
Right. Right. And that does make a difference in how it's handled. I wanted to point out too is not only for right now, am I calling out for all the churches in Hamilton County? Let's come together and contact Ms. Lisa and see how you can help be a part of this ministry to each of us hand in hand minister to the needs of this county right here in Hamilton County. It's such a doable thing.
Easy.
But even if your church isn't ready to make that kind of decision, you still have the opportunity to volunteer your time.
And pray.
Yes.
Pray.
Oh, prayer absolutely helps things. So we definitely need some prayer warriors on the behalf of Love Inc. and this ministry. And I just think it's an awesome, incredible idea. And it's nationwide. You can go on the website there, and there are a number of affiliates. I know it was over 100 when I looked earlier today. I've got it pulled up here. I was going to try and look really fast, but...
And each affiliate stands alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're in contact with the national organization for support, for training. If the Ministerial Alliance here decides that they're going to go with their office here,
Mm-hmm.
they will contact Love Inc. National.
Mm-hmm.
They will come in, help them with their board of directors, help them set up their office,
Mm-hmm.
get their ministries going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a support group is what it is.
Absolutely. So, help me understand this, that, over 133 it looks like currently affiliates, and that's throughout the United States and Kenya.
In Kenya.
We have to say and Kenya.
There are 4 in Florida.
Okay. And how about that? We have one in Live Oak, and we could have one in Hamilton County,
Yes.
in Jasper, Jennings, or White Springs.
Absolutely.
It's a doable thing. It is such a doable thing.
And it's such a blessing to the community.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to the national gathering and I talk about being able to go into the school system, and we work hand in hand with our school system,
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, we can't. And I said, but you're not from the South. We are very fortunate in our area that we can take Christ in the school.
Right, absolutely.
We can do it here.
Mm-hmm.
People embrace it. And because it's interdenominational, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
It's just it's a Christian organization.
Absolutely. And you know what the requirement is to be a volunteer at Love Inc.?
What's that?
To be an active church member.
Wow.
That is your requirement, is that we can prove that you're an active church member. What more can you ask for?
Okay. All right. So that's real easy, everybody. Everybody listening, check that out. There are not a lot of requirements there. Active church membership, and you can volunteer with Love Inc. And she can use lots of help. Love Inc. National. I'm reading from the website here. Under Why We Are Different. Give me just a second. My page just went away. Okay. Existing resources operating independently are not adequate to meet current and growing levels of need. In addition, one church alone cannot deal with all the complex issues of poverty. It takes churches working together across denominational lines to meet these multifaceted needs. Furthermore, Love Inc. can do what the others can't. Agencies, charities, and government can provide a safety net to help those in need, but it can't love and bring transformation like love in the name of Christ can. And I think that sort of sums up what we've been saying the last few minutes, that, together we can conquer way more than we can alone.
Absolutely.
And that's how this works. If I'm understanding it right, it basically Love Inc. is kind of the
hub.
The hub. Yeah, that's a good word. Hub. I was trying to think facilitator, what word would that be? But hub is good. Like you direct the need to the resource.
Exactly. And the resource is a church.
Mm-hmm.
So that they see that all their needs are met through the body of Christ.
Right. That's awesome. And you said currently Live Oak which would be our closest, for Hamilton County, our closest location is in Live Oak. You said there were a couple more in Florida?
There's one in Fort Lauderdale, and there's one in the villages down by Ocala.
Okay, awesome.
So I will say this to you. You asked me what we had going on. We did just put together a cookbook.
Really?
We just put together a cookbook. I didn't bring one with me. I should have. They're $15.
All right.
If anyone's interested, give us a shout. We'll get them to you.
Okay. And the cookbook, the recipes that came from
local. They're all local.
All local. See, those are always good.
Except for my brother. He's in Texas, but he's still local.
Those are usually the best when you get those local passed down from grandma and great grandma kind of recipes. So there you go. They've got a recipe book now, $15. Give Miss Lisa a call if you're interested. And plus, 100% of that, or all that goes to Love Inc.
Yes.
To help support that ministry. Contact Miss Lisa if you want a cookbook. You really should think about that. $15, 386-364-4673. Okay. I wanted to mention too, I know we've talked about what kind of ministries that you've done, and you shared with us one testimony. You minister to all types of people, though.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Young, old,
homeless, senior citizens, the working poor.
Mm-hmm.
Those are what we talk about when we say working poor. Those are the people that are working every day and still struggling because they have children, they have a house payment, they have a car payment. Most of them won't ask you for anything because they're going to make it on their own.
Right.
They'll do without dinner tonight so their children can eat. Mm-hmm. There's no need for that.
Right.
There is food. It's just a phone call. And people say, but my pride gets in the way.
Yeah.
But if you remember, you can't let your pride get in your way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be 100% if you're not fed either.
Right. And you won't be able to hold that out for long before it'll take an effect on you. And then eventually your child that you're trying to protect.
You're going to get sick. Yeah. Then you can't work. It's a domino effect.
Sure it is.
And you've got to put pride to the side and ask for help. Christ wants us to help those.
Right. It's there.
It's there. It's available. Mm-hmm. It's a phone call. 9 chances, and I've told people before that said, but my children, what are they going to say if they come home and I have all these groceries in the house? And I'll say, they're not going to ask you where it came from. They're just going to be
glad
excited
that it's there.
That's right. So kids are much more resilient than adults.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I see that every day.
Every day. And you just... Pride, I think, is a sin because you have to...
Absolutely.
You have to be able to ask for that.
Right.
Not for yourself, for those babies. And I don't know how many homeless students are in Hamilton County, last year when school was out, there were over 300 homeless children in Suwannee County, and I'm sure y'all are close. Now, and you need to understand the definition of homelessness.
Right.
There's a state definition, and then there's the school definition of homeless. Homeless may be couch surfing, and when I say couch surfing, someone may sleep on my couch tonight, sleep on your couch tomorrow night, sleep on your couch the next night.
Yes.
Those are children are considered homeless.
Right.
If parents are in jail and they're living with their grandparents, they're considered homeless.
Okay.
If they're sleeping in a car at Walmart, they're considered homeless.
Right.
If they're in a motel room, they're considered homeless because there is no stability.
Right.
If you think about it that way, it makes more sense to me.
It does.
You know, because children need that stability.
They absolutely do. And I'm so glad you clarified that, because that definition of homeless, because when you think homeless, I know for me, when instantly I think standing on the side of the road with a sign. And I don't mean that to be ugly, but I think that a lot of people feel the same way or think the same way. And when you say homeless, that image comes to mind, but there is a lot more to that than just that image.
There is.
Yeah. And that could be being displaced because of domestic violence issues or because tragic things like a house burning down. I mean, that will cause them obviously to be homeless. But, you know, that's astounding, the number in Suwannee County of defined as homeless children.
Yes. Yes, it
300?
is. There was 300 when school let out last year. I haven't gotten a number yet this year.
Yeah.
I think we served 183 homeless students at Christmas.
Good.
And those aren't including the students that said, no, I don't want anything.
Right.
You know, they don't want anything. So we know there were at least that many at Christmas.
Wow. And so the school system, you work hand in hand with them, I'm assuming, on getting those names or finding out that information.
Yes. So. They send, with the shoes, they send us red cards that has the child's name and the teacher's name, and then they won't send us the red cards. They send them home with the students.
Okay.
And then the parents call us and say, Susie wears a size 6 underwear and a size 5 tennis shoe, and we make sure we have it so they can come pick it up. If we don't have it, then we go out and get it, because we have extra funds that were donated solely for
just for that
tennis shoes.
Wow. And I know from what I do every day that the resources of information is unbelievable through the teachers and guidance counselors and school personnel. They see that child more hours of a day than some family do after they get home. They know that child and they know that child's needs. And they're the best source of information for those children.
They are. And do y'all do the backpack program over the weekend backpacks where the different churches?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think anything like that's going on.
To see those children get off that bus in the morning on Monday mornings because they haven't had anything to eat all weekend and run to that cafeteria. And a lot of the churches in Suwannee County, through the homeless advocate at the school, we do weekend backpacks. And what you do is you pack kid-friendly Pop-Top, peanut butter, a loaf of bread, raviolis in a Pop-Top can, just anything, lots of protein, that they could, if mama's working or if they don't have, any
the means for cooking. Exactly. Okay.
They can go to that backpack. They get that backpack and they have food for all weekend. We do it at our church. And it's an amazing, we let the kids do it.
Yeah.
They get to pack them, and then they pray over them.
Yeah.
And then we send them on, take them to the school.
Wow. I may get with you on that later and talk some more, because that's an appealing avenue, I think, that would be awesome to be able to do something like that here. And
different businesses provide the backpacks, and they're the drawstring backpacks, and you just fill them up, and then they pick them up. Nobody ever knows that's what it is.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I thank you so much for joining us tonight, Miss Lisa. And you did bring with you a wealth of information.
Well, I have certainly enjoyed it.
And like I said, I do plan on getting with you a little later, maybe on some more information and how Sister to Sister might be able to plug in and help with the Love Inc. and volunteering and things of that nature. So
I would enjoy it.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to share now it's another ministry that I'm highlighting. It's independent of Sister to Sister. This is called Sisterhood of the Traveling Cross. This ministry was created, it was established about 3 years ago, or some years ago, by 3 women, one of those being a friend of mine that lives in Ocala. And I'm trying to help her breathe some life back into this ministry. It also is an incredible giving ministry, and I encourage you to participate. It's really simple. Giving is the mission of this ministry. Each month, a person is sponsored by the members of the sisterhood. Its purpose is to encourage people in need of a touch from the Lord with words or small tokens of love via snail mail. Everybody likes to get a surprise in the mail, right?
Absolutely.
To become a member of the sisterhood, it's very simple. Visit s2sministry.com, go to the sisterhood page, and complete the form and type membership in the subject field. Be sure to include your name and address or email address. Once you're a member, you receive an email at the beginning of each month with a description and or synopsis of the person being sponsored and their need, as well as their mailing address. It's simple, and it's intended to be simple. There's no obligation to participate and no monetary expectancy with participation. It's up to you, under the guidance of the Lord, how you give. To nominate a person for sponsorship, complete that same form and type in sponsorship in the subject field. Include a brief description of the need, along with the name and address of the person you're nominating for sponsorship. Some examples in the past of people that were sponsored were they actually sent socks one month to a nursing home. They all got together and sent socks, different sizes, men and women, to nursing home because one of the sisterhood had an aunt in the nursing home, and she said, "Hey, we're always losing our socks." So they sent socks. Another time they sent packages to soldier overseas. They've ministered to, I believe it was a 9-year-old little girl battling cancer. And it's just been a wide variety of things, and we have, excitedly so, we've launched January of this year, and I was able to speak with the mother of the recipient. This is a young woman, recipient for the month of January. She was ecstatic when she received her first package. It's just a blessing to give.
Yes.
It's such a blessing to give. So go to the website, sign up, and be a part of that Sisterhood of the Traveling Cross. Thank you for joining us tonight for Sister to Sister. And thank you again, Lisa, for joining us. Remember, we want to hear from you about what the Lord is doing in your life. Answered prayer, testimonies, and good stuff like that. We'd also like to have your feedback. Let us know you're listening. Contact us through the website, s2sministry.com, or email us directly at emailme@s2sministry.com. You may be outside the local listening area, but you don't have to miss the show. Go to talk1075.com and listen to live streaming anywhere in the world. We now have the ability to archive the show as well. So if you happen to miss one, you can go to the website, s2sministry.com, and click on Show Info to access the archives. Choose to be doers and not just hearers. Go, answer His call, and have a faith-filled week. Tune in next Monday, 7 p.m. right here on WJHC, Talk 107.5 FM for Sister to Sister.
For the past 1 hour, you've been listening to the Sister to Sister Gospel Minute program with your host, Sister Karen, and Sister Lisa, sitting in for Sister Robin. The Sister to Sister Gospel Minute program with Sister Karen and Sister Robin is heard every Monday night from 7 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Live here on Talk FM 107.5 and Talk1075.com, WJXC Radio, Jasper, Florida. Tune again next Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. as we bring you the Sister to Sister Gospel Minute program with Sister Karen and Sister Robin. Until next Monday night, this is your truly Deacon Jerome Carter, along with Sister Karen and Sister Lisa, sitting in for Sister Robin, saying, may God bless you and may God keep you. Until then, good night, everyone.